Bing bong, bum 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 bum. Welcome back, my friend, to BjjBrick Quick. My name is Byron, and this is your quick Jiu-Jitsu podcast. This week we've been talking about movie titles, not the movies themselves, but just the title, and then we'll drag that title on into the mat. Maybe throw a nice little Kimura on there if I can get my positioning right. And talk about jiu-jitsu with that title in mind. Today, I don't know, maybe I take a minute to introduce these things. Maybe you just look at the title when you download the darn show. There's no surprise whatsoever. The title is Die Hard. All right, this one's pretty simple, I think. Some people are just tough on the mats. And they I don't get it. They gut out so many things that they probably shouldn't. I guess I say good for them as long as they're being safe. I did this for a while. It's been several years, but there was a year where I got choked unconscious a number of times. Like it was happening, I don't know, it probably talked about them as they happened on the podcast over the years, but it seemed like it was happening once every other month or so. I get put to sleep in a choke and get woken up by my training partner and like, oh, dang, or just like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times maybe in the course of 4 or 5 months, maybe all through a year. And I'm like, I'm just being too stubborn. It's not necessarily good for the brain to be turned off like that. I need to be a little more careful. And since I made a conscious effort to be more quick with tapping on chokes, haven't happened yet. And the problem with that one was it seems like I would always just think I was going to get out. And I've definitely, since then, tapped on chokes that I thought I might be able to get out of. But once, and that maybe everybody's different, but my arms usually get kind of numb or tingly, like I slept on my arm funny, and then my legs will get a little bit numb, and not necessarily every time, but if my arms are getting numb, I know I'm getting very close to getting choked unconscious. And so if my arms are tingly, my arms are getting numb, I'm using that arm to tap. Like, okay. And I remember there were lots of times where I would be tingly arms and fighting and getting out, and I would get out. It wasn't a game over type of thing. But with kind of the new rule I gave myself, no reason to die hard on this. We'll it's better to escape the beginning of the choke than the end of the choke. To defend the neck better, to defend the position better, and to worry about the last 2 seconds before you tap as a defense. But, I can think of all my training partners that I've had over the years, and some of them are just durable. And you're not necessarily getting close to injuring them, it's just they're hard to tap out. I feel like if somebody's going to dominate me physically for 4.5 minutes in a 5-minute round, turns out towards the end of the round, I'm going to be a little easier to tap. Some people, just not the case. They hold up pretty well under that pressure. It seems like to me, and this might be just my own biases towards the way I do jiu-jitsu and the techniques I like, but it seems like shorter people, little stockier people, are more typically difficult to submit. If I think about the training partners that I could usually do well against enough, there's training partners of all shapes and sizes that I do or do not do well against. That's not but they're just, okay, these, I could usually catch them, or I could at least control the round, or maybe they don't score a point on me, whatever. The shorter athletes seem to be harder to finish. Having shorter limbs, having maybe a shorter neck, being a little bit more balled up, having their elbows closer to their core, maybe. I don't know. I'd like to hear somebody else's thoughts on this. but they die hard. they don't give up. Like they're a little more durable in getting out of submissions, maybe. And maybe true for taller people. Maybe having longer limbs is a disadvantage to getting out of an arm bar. But I don't think height is a real huge factor in jiu-jitsu. You have to play to your body type. If your height, or somebody has long legs, maybe you're looking at doing triangles or some sort of a thing with that. Like you just have to use your leverage where you have it. If you're short, maybe you start looking at other athletes that are about your similar body type. How do they play jiu-jitsu? They've already figured out some stuff. We don't have to make up everything every time. Well, I've dragged myself off topic, as I do with no notes, just a movie title. But I do appreciate those durable training partners, and I also respect those that don't die hard, that tap way early on the choke, or the foot lock is barely set up, and they're tapping. I respect that. That's fine. No disrespect to anybody, how soon or late. It is a little frustrating sometimes to have something fully locked out, like I have an arm bar, I have good control, you're stuck. I'm not going to hyperextend your arm. So if I'm going back and your arm is straightened out and you're not tapping, that's a little frustrating sometimes. Like, okay, I'll go to my omoplata, which is a good backup for a failed arm bar for me, but I don't want to hurt anybody that I'm training with or anybody in general. So sometimes the diehard training partners maybe are pushing that line a little bit, as far as they're relying on their training partners not to hip into that arm bar. I don't know. Just trying to change the topic to a whole different category. Dang. Why did I think of that at the beginning of the show? Well, if you've enjoyed the show from the beginning to the end, think about supporting it on Patreon. You can go there and kick us a few bucks every month. We'd greatly appreciate that. Hope you have a great day, my friend, and stay sweaty.